This is Election Bureau. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to Kramat Domina. Top of our stories this afternoon. National Peace Council engages key stakeholders ahead of crucial parliamentary sitting tomorrow, following Supreme Court stay of execution ruling. Ahead of the outcome of that meeting, some religious leaders are demanding action against a possible chaos tomorrow.
It's most likely some military people will be deployed. We don't have the basis for it. But once it's been put out there, we must prepare ourselves for what can happen. So,
also coming up in the bulletin.
I have already instructed them that we have to go to the Supreme Court because I do not think that multi-party democracy should be jettisoned just from the corners of the Electoral Commission without our involvement.
Disqualified PNC presidential aspirant Bernard Mona vows to go to the Supreme Court after the High Court dismissed his appeal against the Electoral Commission's disqualification. Meanwhile, the court insists the PNC was not meticulous in filing its nomination forms. Still in the bulletin, public sector institutions suffer halt in operations as Public Services Workers Union begin a nationwide strike today.
This public institutions, when you go on strike for single day, it causes a whole lot of disturbances. Those who are supposed to be here and get their card or whatever.
And later in the bulletin, government announces plans to cater for 2 dialysis sessions of persons between age 18 and 60 who were initially exempted from free dialysis program.
The President of the Republic has given NHIs the go-ahead to pay for 2 sessions out of the average 4 that you receive.
Region. This is Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi, in the Volta region, Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu, VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoi, in the Northern region, Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM, in Upper East, Quality 88.7 FM in Garu, and in the Upper West region, this is Tunsong 97.3 FM in Wa, Jirapa 96.1 FM. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your company this afternoon. The National Democratic Congress is maintaining that the party will continue to have majority in Parliament until the Speaker of Parliament communicates otherwise. Now, this is coming on the back of Speaker Alban Bagwin's declaring 4 parliamentary seats vacant on October 17 after 4 sitting MPs announced plans to switch political affiliates.
Because of Article 122, we have what we call legislative interpretation of the Constitution. Is the legislature given any power to interpret the Constitution? And do we have legislative supremacy under this Constitution, or we have constitutional supremacy that the Constitution even determines the powers of the president, the executive? So why would anybody say that, oh, now what the Speaker does is sacrosanct, can't be questioned by the Supreme Court? That is an absurdity of the highest order.
You heard Samuel Atacha, he's Member of Parliament for Buakwa South. While still on the subject, the African Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, ASEPA, has warned that a frequent reliance on the courts by members of Parliament could weaken Ghana's democracy. This follows a recent ruling by Speaker Alban Bagwin, which has been challenged in court, leading to the stay of execution. Now, speaking on the City Breakfast Show, ASEPA's Executive Director, Dr. Rashid Rahman, called for an immediate resolution, noting that a continuation could harm the country's image.
We've seen a penchant for, members of parliament, and sometimes members instigate, outside stakeholders to run to the court. And I've been telling them what you are doing is you are weakening your own institution, because wherever you find yourself today is not a permanent station. Because in parliamentary parlance, we say minorities change. And in our country, we know that we ought to be very careful how many times and how quick we run to the court to say, interpret or get involved in what we are trying to do to hold the executive to account. Just because maybe it doesn't please somebody, or because, whatever is going on is something that somebody doesn't like. But they are forgetting democratic journey. If we really have to see something untoward happening tomorrow, because some have said it's most likely some military people will be deployed. We don't have the basis for it. But once it's been put out there, we must prepare ourselves for what can happen. So the
advice I can give is the trio, that is the various arms of government need to remove sentiment and see what is happening now as a certain opportunity to understand that certain changes could come at any time, and we can look at opportunity to really improve, our democratic journey. It's not so much about this party or that party, but where we have reached means that we have hit a certain point in our democratic journey where certain decisions must be made. And I think if we can remove political sentiment and look at this as an opportunity to make a certain change for the better of our future.
Here, Sheikh Amiel Shaibu, he's an Islamic cleric and spokesperson to the National Chief Imam. Away from this now, the Health Minister, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, has announced plans by the government to pay 2 out of the 4 dialysis sessions for persons between the ages of 18 and 60. Now, Dr. Okoboy says the move is part of efforts to mitigate the cost burden of kidney patients who visit the hospital for their sessions. Speaking at an event at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Bernard Okoboy said government has heard the cries of kidney patients.
Form 2 students, they are in police custody. They've been caught and their charge is rape. There are 8 boys. 3 they've run away. What are they going to do with their lives? School because now everything is coded. They were handcuffed, walked through the principal streets, and they were put in the cells. So the boys, now the toughies and the whole lot, that you lick, they say the person is high. Your high is just to mess up your life. So your take-home message: how am I receiving the nurturing that the school is giving to me? What is my vision? What is my dream? I need to dream big.
Eastern Regional Director of Education, Dr. Ivia Santawa Owusu. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News. When we return, public sector institutions suffer halt in major operations as Public Services Workers Union begins nationwide strike today. We have details of this and other stories coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Welcome back. We're grateful you could stay with us. Let's bring you some more stories. Services at various public sector institutions have come to a standstill following the indefinite strike by the Public Services Workers Union. The union is protesting the delayed payment of 2 key allowances: the Government Support Services Allowance and the Public Services Administration and Equity Allowance. Now, a visit by Citi News to some government agencies, including the National Identification Authority.
These persons who want to fix their Ghana card issues are not available because they're on strike. I visited the Food and Drugs Authority, but the officers there are attending to persons coming in for some services. And I am currently at the National Service Secretariat here in Accra to National Service Authority, not Secretariat, National Service Authority, and I am now making an entry, but I'm currently on live. So for that, I can't confirm if services are being rendered to persons coming in or not. And if you would recall, the union embarked on an industrial action sometime in September, and it was later suspended temporarily because the government assured them that their concerns, which is the allowances that they are requesting, which is the institution who they don't want to speak to me on camera, but they confirmed to me that the services that they were seeking at the Food and Drug Authority has been rendered to them. And basically, the strike has been on since September with respect to negotiations. And the Public Sector Workers Union have indicated that even though they are in negotiations, the negotiations are dragging, and it's as if government is not it's not attaching some sort of seriousness to their issue, and they need to embark on strike. As to whether they are open to negotiations now, I can't confirm because I've not had interactions with the union to ascertain whether they are open to negotiation.
Very well. Thank you so much. That's my colleague Kennedy Chimesi, who is reporting on the strike by the about the independence of the Electoral Commission, with critics questioning a constitutional provision that grants the president the power to appoint its leadership. Now, established in 1992 as a symbol of fairness and integrity, the Electoral Commission's appointment process has come under scrutiny, with political experts and civil society groups warning that presidential influence
were conducted. In 2018, President Akufo-Addo appointed Jan Mensah, who oversaw the 2020 elections and is expected to oversee the upcoming 2024 elections. Political experts like Bafo Ajimandia argue that allowing the president to appoint the EC creates a conflict of interest, questioning how the people can trust an electoral body whose leadership is chosen by the very government it regulates.
And I think if you go back, very tragically, in this republic, because of the keen competition between the two dominant political parties, whatever an incumbent government does is seen differently in terms of the meaning and the essence by the opposition party. This new electoral commission
influence and its leadership should not be appointed by those in power.
Whoever is appointed may not have anything to do with the declaration of an election result, because it is so transparent that one person may not be able to influence anything. But you see, perception is the problem. Once people perceive that I belong to a party A or B, I can influence the decision of whatever decision that is going to be taken.
You create a trust problem with the institution, and that then undermines the confidence in the so you put the Electoral Commission in a situation where all the time it is trying to fight off accusations of bias because of just the way the process of appointment. So I think in the future there has to be amendments to the provisions.
In countries like Kenya, Nigeria and South Africa, electoral bodies are shielded from direct presidential control. These models offer important lessons for Ghana, where growing voices are advocating for constitutional reforms to remove the president's appointment power. Experts in politics and democracy are proposing an overhaul of the EC's appointment process, calling for constitutional amendments. They believe that reform is essential to restoring full confidence in Ghana's electoral system and preventing a future breakdown of trust in the EC.
We are not glued to any particular model. You see, some people think what the Americans do or what the British do or what the Europeans do is what we have to do. Not at all. We have the independence to think, and based on our own history, our culture, and our political dynamics, we can decide, look, let's find another way. So we don't have to be timid when it comes to restructuring or revising or our democratic practices.
Chinia Ishahaku, Member of Parliament for Sisala East and a member of the New Patriotic Party, support